I never thought I'd be that guy. The paranoid, overthinking boyfriend who reads too much into things. But the problem with gut feelings? They don't go away. They fester, twist inside you, whispering in the back of your mind until you either face them or let them eat you alive. Emily and I had been together for 3 years, and for most of that time I never had a single doubt about her. She was the kind of girlfriend who'd remember my coffee order, plan in weekend getaways just because, and hold my hand in the car like we were teenagers in love. But now every little thing felt off. It started small. Her text slowed down. The morning, "Hey babe, hope you have a good day." Messages became sporadic. Calls that used to be filled with laughter turned into clipped conversations, like she was distracted or worse, with someone else. I told myself it was nothing. Then came the late nights. "Hey babe, I'm staying late at the office. Big project deadline." Except Emily never used to work late. She hated working overtime. She was always the first to complain about how corporate America sucks the life out of you. But now, she was suddenly volunteering to stay longer. Still, I let it go. Relationships are built on trust, right? But then, the phone behavior changed. Emily had always been glued to her phone. She'd scroll through TikTok while we ate, send me random memes, text Jessica every 5 minutes about some drama at work. Now, her phone was always face down. At first, I convinced myself it was just a habit change. But habits don't change overnight. One night, while we were watching Netflix, her phone buzzed. Not the usual soft vibration, but a call. The screen lit up for a split second before she snatched it up and rushed out of the room. "Who was that?" I asked when she came back. "Work," she answered too quickly, not meeting my eyes. I forced a laugh. "Since when do marketing coordinators get emergency calls at night?" She hesitated. "Since my boss became a total micromanager. He's the worst." Her explanation felt wrong. Not because it wasn't possible, but because it came too fast. Like she'd already rehearsed it. Still, I pushed the doubt aside. I didn't want to be that guy. But then, the car seat incident. Emily was 5 feet 4 inches and always kept her car seat pulled forward. One night she asked me to grab her sweater from her car while she was in the shower. I opened the door and stopped cold. The passenger seat was pushed all the way back. Not just a little, all the way. Like someone much taller than her had been sitting there recently. A weird, icy sensation crawled up my spine. I ran my fingers over the headrest, feeling the faint indentation where someone's head had rested. Someone else had been in her car. I didn't say anything that night, but the feeling wouldn't go away. Then came the ticket stub. One morning while Emily was getting ready, I grabbed her coat from the chair. As I picked it up, something fluttered to the ground, a small rectangular slip of paper. I bent down and picked it up. It was a parking ticket, stamped with last Friday's date. And the location? A hotel downtown. My pulse spiked. "What the hell?" I whispered under my breath. That night she told me she was at Jessica's for a girls' night. Had she... No way. I told myself there had to be another explanation. Maybe she met a client there for work. Maybe it wasn't hers. Maybe. But doubts started stacking up like dominoes. And then, the final nail in the coffin. Friday night. Emily had told me she was staying at Jessica's again. At 11 p.m. I shot Jessica a casual text. "Hope you guys are having fun. Tell Emily said hi." A few minutes later she replied, "Huh? Emily's not here. I thought she was with you." My body went rigid. I stared at the message, reading it over and over, hoping I had somehow misunderstood. Emily had lied. Flat out lied. My stomach twisted into knots. A weird, hollow feeling spread through my chest. There it was. The moment everything shattered. For weeks I had pushed away my suspicions, told myself I was being paranoid, that I was overthinking. I wasn't. I had been right all along. And now, I needed to know the truth. I sat there staring at my phone screen, the words from Jessica burning into my brain. "Emily's not here. I thought she was with you." My mind froze. My vision blurred slightly as I tried to process what I was seeing. I reread the message once, twice, 3 times. But no matter how many times I looked at it, the meaning didn't change. My fingers clenched around the phone. My heartbeat pounded against my ribs, heavy and erratic. It felt like the walls were closing in, like the air had suddenly thickened. I swallowed hard, willing myself to stay calm, but my entire body had already started to tremble. The worst part wasn't even the message itself. It was the realization that I had known all along. Every late night, every hushed phone call, every excuse. Each of them had been a warning sign, but I had been too much of a fool to believe it. I forced myself to take a breath, my hands shaking as I typed a reply. "Hey babe, how's girls' night?" Sent. 3 dots appeared, then they disappeared, then they came back. My stomach churned. Then finally her response. "It's fun! We're just watching a movie. Miss you hard." A lie. A blatant, deliberate, calculated lie. I gritted my teeth, my jaw locking so tight I could feel the pressure in my skull. A small part of me wanted to believe that maybe, just maybe, this was all some misunderstanding, that Jessica was the one who got it wrong, that Emily had stopped by and left, that she wasn't doing what my gut was screaming at me. But then another message popped up. "Love you, babe. Can't wait to see you tomorrow." That did it. Something snapped inside me. It wasn't just anger. It wasn't just heartbreak. It was this deep, searing sense of humiliation, like I had been played for a fool, like I had spent months, maybe even longer, loving someone who had been laughing behind my back. My breathing turned shallow, and for a moment I just sat there, my grip tightening around my phone, my knuckles turning white. I should call her, demand an explanation, confront her through the phone right now, and force her to admit the truth. But that wasn't enough. I didn't want words. I wanted proof. I needed to see it with my own eyes. I stood up so fast that the chair scraped against the floor with a sharp screech. My pulse was roaring in my ears as I grabbed my keys, my entire body tense with adrenaline. The night air was cold when I stepped outside, but I barely felt it. My head was buzzing, my body moving on autopilot as I climbed into my car and turned the ignition. The engine growled to life, but the sound was distant, like I was hearing it from underwater. I gripped the steering wheel, knuckles straining, my breath shallow. My mind raced faster than my car could. What if she really is cheating? I pushed down on the accelerator harder than necessary. The speed limit signs blurred past me, the streetlights casting long shadows across the road. I barely registered them. All I could see was her face, smiling like nothing was wrong. Her text so casual, so affectionate, while she was probably lying next to someone else. My chest tightened. I didn't know what I would do when I found out. I had never been the type to scream, to lash out. But right now, I felt like I could burn the whole world down. I forced my foot to ease up on the gas pedal. I couldn't afford to get pulled over, not now. Not when I was this close. As I neared Jessica's neighborhood, I felt my stomach twist. I knew she wouldn't be there, but I had to check. I had to see it for myself. I parked down the street and stared at the house. The windows glowed softly, silhouettes moving inside. Jessica and her boyfriend. No Emily. My throat felt dry. I reached for my phone, my hand still unsteady as I swiped to open the location-sharing app. Emily and I had shared locations for months. Just a casual convenience, nothing suspicious. I had never once thought to check it, until now. I took a breath and tapped on her name. It loaded, then it glitched, then it loaded again. My pulse pounded as the blue dot appeared. Not Jessica's house, not anywhere near Jessica's house. Downtown, near the hotels. I blinked, my chest going hollow. My mind refused to register what I was seeing, like my body was fighting against the truth staring me in the face. My fingers tightened around the phone. I looked at the screen again. The address was unfamiliar, but I knew the area. It was near a strip of business hotels, places where affairs happened. My breathing turned shallow. Maybe she got a room for work. Maybe she was meeting someone for a project. And maybe I was still just a fucking idiot. I threw the car into gear, my muscles tensing with every second that passed. The tires screeched slightly as I turned onto the main road, my mind a chaotic storm of rage, dread, and a sickening need for confirmation. As I drove, my brain replayed every moment leading up to this. The night she came home late wearing a dress I had never seen before. The time she smelled faintly of cologne that wasn't mine. The ticket stub from a hotel she swore she had never been to. All those moments, those tiny details I'd brushed off, were now piling on top of each other, forming an undeniable truth. I was a goddamn idiot for not seeing it sooner. My phone buzzed in the cup holder. I glanced down. Emily. "Miss you, babe. Wish you were here." I let out a hollow laugh. My vision blurred for a second. Not from tears, but from something darker. something closer to fury. She had no idea I was on my way. No idea that I was minutes away from seeing the truth for myself. I turned the corner. The hotel's neon sign glowed ahead, and my heart pounded as I pulled into the parking lot. The moment I stepped into the hotel lobby, I realized I had a problem. Guest information is private. I couldn't just walk up to the front desk and demand a room number. I knew that. But I was here, and I wasn't leaving without answers. I forced myself to calm down, adjusting my expression before approaching the reception desk. The woman behind the counter barely looked up, still tapping away at her computer. "Hi, I think my girlfriend might have checked in here tonight. Emily Carter. Can you tell me her room number?" She didn't even hesitate. "I'm sorry, sir, but we can't disclose guest information." I exhaled sharply, running a hand through my hair. I should have expected that. "Listen," I tried again, lowering my voice. "I think she's here with another man. I need to know. Please." Her expression didn't change. Hotel policy was hotel policy, but then, what are you doing here? I turned, my heart still racing from adrenaline. Standing a few feet away near the concierge desk was James, an old college friend, and, more importantly, the assistant manager of this hotel. I stared at him for a second, my mind racing. Then it clicked. This was my way in. "James," I breathed, striding toward him. "I need your help." He frowned. "What's going on?" I didn't have time to sugarcoat it. "Emily's here with someone else. I need to know which room." His expression darkened. He glanced at the receptionist, then back at me. There was hesitation in his eyes. "You know, I could get in trouble for this, right?" "I know," I said quickly, my voice tense. "But if you were me, wouldn't you want to know?" "That did it." James sighed, rubbing his face before turning toward the computer. He typed something quickly, his fingers moving like he was debating the whole thing. Then, after what felt like an eternity, he looked up. Room 214. The hallway stretched out ahead of me, dimly lit and unnervingly silent. My footsteps felt heavier with every step, my stomach tightening into knots so tight I could barely breathe. Room 214. The number gleamed under the yellowish light, mocking me. I raised my fist and knocked. Nothing. I knocked again, harder. Then, a muffled shuffle. A voice. Heron, I felt the blood drain from my face. The doorknob twisted, and the door cracked it open just slightly. And then, there she was. Emily. Her hair was messy, her lips slightly parted in shock. She wasn't dressed for a night out with friends. She wasn't in the pajamas she usually wore for girls' night. She was in nothing but a loose hotel robe. The air in my lungs vanished. Time slowed to a crawl. My vision blurred, my body tensed. My ears started ringing. I felt weightless. Like my body wasn't even real anymore, like the world had just flipped upside down and I was free-falling. I could hear my own pulse, a dull rhythmic thud inside my head. She looked at me, horrified. And then, the worst part. The part I had tried to prepare myself for. The part I knew would break me completely. Behind her, standing near the bed, was Ryan, my coworker. For a long, excruciating moment, none of us spoke. The air between us felt like static electricity, tense, charged, on the brink of exploding. Emily's mouth opened and closed like she was searching for an excuse, an explanation, a way out. Ryan, on the other hand, had the nerve to smirk. Smirk! Like this was some goddamn joke. The sheer audacity of it nearly made my vision go red. I wanted to hurt him. I wanted to see his face twist in pain, to watch him choke on his own fucking arrogance. But I waited. I let the silence stretch. I let the weight of the moment crush them both. I wanted them to feel every single second of my hatred. Ryan shifted uncomfortably. "Look, man." That's when I hit him. Not just a punch. A full-force, knuckle-cracking, bone-rattling blow. His head snapped to the side. The smirk wiped off his face as he stumbled back against the dresser. A framed picture crashed to the ground. Emily screamed. Ryan groaned, clutching his jaw, eyes wide in shock and fear. I stepped forward, towering over him, my breath coming in sharp bursts. "You're lucky I don't kill you right now." My voice was calm, deadly. Ryan didn't speak. He didn't move. He knew. He fucking knew. I turned my gaze to Emily. Her face was pale, her hands trembling as she held onto the robe like it could somehow protect her. "How long?" I asked, my voice low, controlled. She swallowed hard. A few months? I nodded. A bitter, almost amused chuckle slipped past my lips. Months. I'd wasted so much time on someone who had no problem throwing me away like I was nothing. Emily took a hesitant step toward me. Please, just let me explain. Explain? I repeated, tilting my head slightly. You want to explain? Sure, go ahead, Emily. Explain how you've been fucking my coworker while telling me you loved me. Her eyes welled with tears. I didn't care. Ryan, still groaning from the punch, pushed himself up from the floor. I turned to him, my eyes burning with one last warning. Stay the fuck away from me, Ryan, and quit your goddamn job. Because if I have to see your face in the office ever again, I won't hold back next time. His throat bobbed as he swallowed hard. Got it, he muttered. Damn right, he got it. I turned back to Emily. Her eyes pleaded with me, desperate, full of regret. I didn't mean for it to happen, she whispered. I let out a slow, steady breath. Neither did I. And then I smirked, because I wasn't leaving this hotel as a broken man. I was leaving with a plan. I was going to make sure she felt this betrayal deeper than I ever did. And when I was done, Emily wouldn't just regret losing me. She'd regret ever thinking she could get away with this. Emily stood there silent, her body frozen in the doorway. I could see the war in her eyes. Shock, regret, fear. But not love. Not the kind of remorse that comes from losing someone you truly care about. No, her regret was about losing control. About the fact that I wasn't playing into her script. I didn't mean for it to happen, she whispered, her voice cracking. I exhaled, slow and controlled. You didn't mean for it to happen, I repeated, rolling the words over my tongue like they were foreign. That's funny, because it sure as hell looked like you meant it. She took a small step forward, hesitant. I was confused, okay? Ryan, he didn't mean anything. It was a mistake, and I scoffed. Yeah? A mistake that lasted for months? Funny how you never made that kind of mistake with me. For a brief moment, I saw something flicker across her face. Annoyance. And there it was. The real Emily. Are you seriously going to throw everything away over one bad decision? She snapped, her voice sharpening. We were good together, you know that. You can't just erase everything we had over, I'm not the one who erased it, Emily. I cut in, my voice quiet but firm. You did that all on your own. Her face twisted in frustration. For a moment I thought she might actually yell. But then something else took over. A calculated shift in expression, the manipulation. I still love you. It was her final card, the one she thought would work. I smiled, but it wasn't the kind of smile she wanted. It was cold, detached. No, you don't, I said simply. You love control and you lost it. Her mouth opened, but no words came out, because she knew I was right. The best revenge isn't always about brute force. Sometimes it's about timing. Ryan had an important presentation the next day, one that was supposed to determine if he'd get a promotion. He had been preparing for weeks, fine-tuning every slide, making sure every number was perfect. He had no idea what was coming. I did. That morning, as the boardroom filled with executives and senior managers, Ryan confidently plugged in his laptop, opened his presentation file, and boom! Instead of profit reports and market analysis, dozens of intimate pictures of him and Emily flashed across the big screen. The room went dead silent. Ryan scrambled, clicking frantically, trying to shut it down, but it was too late. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. Someone coughed awkwardly. Another stifled a laugh. What the hell is this, Ryan? His boss asked, his tone sharp and unimpressed. He stammered, sweating through his shirt. I don't know. This isn't my file. But no one cared. The damage was done. An hour later, security escorted him out of the building. His career, over, his reputation, destroyed. And the best part? I never even had to touch the file.